So the time is nearly 6:30 in the evening. And I haven't actually really had breakfast yet. And I'm not really about to have breakfast, but this is Breakfast with TNC. Let me get some food, let me go upstairs, and let me explain what's going on. Hey, what is going on, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another episode of Breakfast with TNC, and possibly the latest upload of a Breakfast with TNC you will ever see. It is currently, at time of recording, 18:27 here in the UK. I'm not sure how that correlates to our American, Australian, Papua New Guinean, Hungarian, Slovakian viewers. I've quite a lot of countries actually watch TNC, so shout out to the Papua New Guinea TNC fans. Yeah, let me explain what happened. So I got up this morning, nice and early, 6 o'clock to record Breakfast with TNC. A few things cropped up, which meant I couldn't do it before I left my house to go to Norwich to do a few things. I've been in Norwich all day, I've just got home, and I haven't actually had breakfast yet. Really, I had lunch, but I didn't really have breakfast. So I'm counting this as my breakfast. So I'm basically done the day in reverse. So I might have tea tomorrow morning. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, today I have one of my mum's Slimming World quiches. They call it quiches at Slimming World. Slimming World's a bit odd. Basically what they do is they take all of your favourite foods, take the nicest bit out of that food, and then complement it with vegetables. So basically in here we have broccolis, onions, tomatoes, mushrooms, peppers, eggs, cottage cheese, salt and pepper, and bacon. My mum even wrote it on a little note for me because she loves me dearly, and she also loves Slimming World. So yeah, let's have a little tuck into this. It's basically a slimline quiche, pretty much. It's good, but it's not as good as a quiche. I'm not sure if I'd rather eat a quiche and be fat or eat this and be less fat. I don't know. I guess the main question of the day is, what do you guys have with your bacon, broccoli, onion, tomato, mushroom, peppers, eggs, cottage cheese, salt and pepper, Slimming World quiche? Red sauce, ketchup, or brown sauce? A lot of you guys were getting on to me because I don't have brown sauce with my bacon sandwiches. Tell me what sauce you have with your Slimming World quiches. Dare you. Anyway, let's get into today's news then. The first one is Matin Olsson has signed a new 1.5-year contract with Norwich City. Possibly the most surprising news to come out of Norwich City this year, really. We all expected him to be off when his contract ran out at the end of this season. Is it even in January? I'm not sure. His agent wanted him to leave, Olsson wanted to leave, and suddenly, yesterday, it comes out that he signed a new contract. He said, I enjoy it here, I enjoy this club, and I enjoy this city, and the fans are so passionate. It's always a great feeling to step out of Carrow Road. Our main target is to go up. It hasn't been going well for a few games, but that's how it is sometimes. We can turn it around, and when we do that, hopefully we can achieve promotion. So fair play to Matin Olsson. I went to you guys on Twitter and asked, is it Matin Olsson fully committed to the club, or is it basically us extending his contract to boost his sell-on fee? Because basically it's a 1.5-year deal. You rarely see them kind of contracts. It indicates to me that he doesn't want to be here for long term. His agent probably wants it, or the club certainly wants it, to just boost his sell-on fee. So Chris Harden says either or gives a bit more control back to the club. He's a reserve keeper now as well, you know. Was he talking about that handball at QPR? Gary Waddison says we all know the answer, but still a good bit of news. Ella Tovel says sounds like he's happy to be at Norwich, but at least the club will benefit from a transfer if he does. James Birchall says temporary measure. And then J&B Menswear. Shout out to J&B Menswear on Magdalen Road. If you want to sponsor me for some garments, hit me up on the telephone number DM me, guys. Just in case, just increases the value of a sale for all parties. Could go in January, more likely the summer. Loads and loads of you guys basically saying that who cares? We've still got Olsson for the rest of the season, which is a good thing. On his day, probably one of the best left backs in the league. And it also increases his sell-on fee, which is obviously good news as well. So good news all round. Hopefully Matin Olsson can really get to his peak levels going into the end of the season, because he's been a bit hit and miss so far this season. But good news there. The next one, bit of transfer news. Apparently we're being linked with Brentford's Scott Hogan, £8 million. Haven't heard much about Scott Hogan before this season. I've heard a lot about him this season, mainly because I've been putting him in my fantasy bet team every week. He scored 11 goals. He's 1 goal behind the Championship top scorer Dwight Gale. And Brentford is 16th, so he's kind of running that team at the moment, is Scott Hogan, and he's doing very well. Is he worth £8 million? I'm not so sure. Do we need goals? Yes. Scott Hogan, maybe one to look out for, that's for sure. Next bit of news is Bradley Johnson is sorry for twisting the knife on Norwich City, but the Derby man is convinced his former club will go back on Championship promotion track. He said, "It was good," smiled Johnson. "The fans were terrific for me when I was at the club, and now I've left. I think they're still good to me. I thank them, and I'm sorry for the way it went. It was bound to happen. I was bound to score." And it was pretty much written, wasn't it, the script? And I think it would have been even more apt for Alex Neil, obviously letting Bradley Johnson go because he didn't deem him good enough, and then Johnson to score against us and possibly sack Alex Neil. Obviously, Alex Neil didn't get sacked, and he won't get sacked before this weekend's game. But it would have been very apt for that to happen. It was very strange when Johnson scored, because the Derby fans were singing Super Bradley Johnson, and about 40 to 50% of the Norwich fans were singing Bradley Johnson. So the opposition had just scored against us, but we were celebrating it. It was very, very odd. But I do still love Bradley Johnson a lot. And finally, Alex Neil basically talking about his future at the club. He said, "Sometimes when you are down, there are people who like to have a kick at your gut. And at the moment, I'm getting a kick in the gut. But listen, I'm a big boy. I will suck it up and I will go again this week. I've never been scared about my job. That will remain the case. It is for others to make that decision. The one thing I've never been is a quitter who will give up. The only time you are a failure is when you stop trying." Fair play to Alex Neil. If he's up for this fight, then fair bloody play. I think he's lost it. I don't think there's any way back from here. But I'm more than happy to be proven wrong, because I do like Alex Neil. I think he's a good manager. I think he'll do well at other clubs wherever he may go after Norwich City. If he does, he might be here for the next 30 years, who knows. But I just think that there is a lot of problems at this football club at the moment. And fair play to Alex Neil for coming out and saying that. He's a big boy, guys. He's a big boy. Anyway, big thanks for watching today's episode of Breakfast with TNC. Let me know, one, what sauce you use. Finally, with your bacon, broccoli, onion, tomato, mushroom, pepper, eggs, cottage cheese, salt and pepper, quiche, slimline version, Slim and World version, brown sauce or ketchup. Let me know about Scott Hogan. Would you want to see him at the club? And also Alex Neil, is it in? Is it out? And finally, let me know about Matin Olsson. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Breakfast with TNC. I'm very sorry that it's very different to normal. Yeah, life sometimes goes like that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you later. Peace out. Once upon a time, a fairy tale.